The housing market is actually crashing. Some areas more than others, but it's not a secret. The housing market isn't as good as it was in recent years, mainly for sellers. For buyers, it's probably a great time to buy because we know those interest rates are coming down. Housing prices will go up. That's what they do over the long term. But right now, it ain't looking good for sellers. But is this a long-term trend? Is it a short-term trend? What's going to happen? This new segment, which I'm going to play for you in 1 second and then comment on, is talking about how the home builders are really the ones driving the housing market, which we're always talking about on this channel. But it's got some really important pieces of information in this new segment that you need to know and we got to discuss. With that being said, let's get into it.
Data shows, but rents are falling. Now, you say that's demand is still great, but I don't know. The falling rents tells me maybe something else is going on.
Well, I think demand is very strong, continues to be very strong. I think the shift in rents is being driven by supply. Developers move in a herd mentality. 2 years ago, post-pandemic, everyone's moving to Florida. Rents in multifamily are up. Everybody got their shovels and started digging. And now those units that we talked about 2 years ago are all hitting at the exact same moment in time. And as a result, rents are going to fall. Consumers, renters are going to get a great deal for now.
Yeah, so this is a very important thing to talk about, is that with all of the supply that's been built, there's a ton of building going on after the pandemic. Interest rates were at historic lows. Builders were loving it. Everybody was loving it. Real estate was on fire. You remember what it was like. It was madness. So with all of these buildings being built, tons of supply hitting the market, and a lot of builders were mainly focusing on Florida and Texas, the places that were open during the pandemic. The net migration from other states was just absolutely insane for these specific areas. So builders went nuts in Austin, Texas specifically, down in Florida, especially on the West Coast, Southwest Coast, which is where we like to specialize. Funny enough, there's a lot more supply. And now that there's so much supply, rental prices are coming down. It's just what happens. Economics 101. When you have a lot of something, and even though there's a lot of demand, there's a lot of supply as well. So renters can pick and choose what's going on, where they want to rent, what they want to offer, and they're getting deals, and we're seeing prices starting to roll over. Now, we're not seeing that in the CPI yet, of course. CPI data is always lagged. We know that CPI is made up 60% from real estate. The real estate industry has so much impact on inflation, and it's lag data. We're seeing in the live data. We're seeing right here. We can see on Redfin. We can see Remax. All the live data. Rents are rolling over. Zillow. I don't know why the government's not looking at this. They're looking at owner's equivalent rent, which is a whole other thing we always jam about on this channel. It's bullshit. But once that data does hit the CPI, eventually it will. In the next few months, it will. You're going to see inflation roll over, which is going to lead to rate cuts, which is what this guy's talking about in 1 second. We know the rate cuts are coming. It's no secret, okay? We got the election in the U.S. in November. It's almost like guaranteed they're going to cut before the election. You think Joe Biden doesn't have any, okay, maybe not Joe Biden, his government, his people, don't have any sway on Jerome Powell? They need a cut before the election. If they have any chance of winning and beating Donald Trump, they need a cut. If you go into an election with rates of this high, inflation through the roof, people can't make payments with no sentiment change of, brighter days are ahead with rate cuts, you're going to lose. It's almost guaranteed they're going to cut before November, at least once. And that's what they need. But anyway, we'll get into the next points of what this guy's talking about, of what's probably going to happen in a couple of years.
Now sounds like
Right, because you and I are talking about rents falling. The herd developers have taken their shovel and left. They're gone. So those units that should be delivering in 2 years from now to help meet the continued demand into the Sun Belt won't be there. And I think rents will come back up at that point in time.
What do you mean by a flight to quality?
It's about quality of life at the end of the day. It's about affordability. It's access to nature. It's walkability. It's short commutes to work, better weather. And those are the type of things that the Sun Belt has offered. Communities that we have, like the Woodlands outside of Houston or Summerlin. Yeah,
no secret. People like to live in Florida, Texas. People are going to leave Wisconsin, Connecticut, New Jersey, and move down. That's always been happening, especially as we move into a more remote work world. It's just the reality. More people are going to move down here. But like he was saying, there were so many builders running to the market in 2022, 2021, when interest rates were low and the world was starting to open up a little bit. And now with interest rates being shot up, what do you think happened? All the builders left, dude. They're gone. And they're waiting for rates to come down, to come back and start building again. Nobody's building right now. The housing market is shit. It's shit on the buying side. It's shit on the renting side. It's too risky. Cost of money is so high. Why would a builder build? If they own any land, they're just sitting on the vacant land. paying the measly property tax and waiting for the housing market to get better for the renting side and the buying and selling side. So that's just what's going on. So again, it's just the cycles of real estate, the cycles of the economy. When those rates come down, the builders will come back. They're going to start building a ton, but that's going to take 2 or 3 years from when they start shoveling in the ground, which is probably going to be later this year, early next year, spring. So right now there's a window for buying. There's deals, right? The housing market is stressed. Interest rates are high. People are scared. On the renting side, get your deals now. People are discounting rent all over America. It's just what it is. There's less people renting and there's so much more supply. Prices are coming down, but that's only for so long. You don't think real estate is going to go up? You think we're doomed? You think this is it? This is the big one? This is 2008 2.0? What are you talking about? We're literally months away, from rate cuts. What do you think's going to happen? We can look to history. It happens every single time. It's just part of the cycles. Anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you think is going to happen to the housing market? Is it time for investors to get back in, start buying? Do you want to live in Florida and Texas and leave where you're living? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. I'll see you in the next video.